All right, guys, it's been a minute since we've done one of these, and I'm sorry. Life gets in the way, man. Had a lot going on, but today we are going to get into another obscure obsession. Let's get into it. All right, today I just have a small sample, but it's something you might not even know about, and it's something very strange and different, obscure, some would even say. So this is none other than a sample of Kings County. They're up in New York. They're peated bourbon. Okay, I've talked about peated bourbons in the past. This is a 9.5-year-old whiskey. But look at this. The proof point on it, 158.2. Why not, right? I want to thank Brian over at the Chill Filtered podcast for sending this over to me. Now, I am going to have the smallest amount because this is like having 17 whiskeys. No. And these are the coolest little sample bottles. This is Liquid Ministry sample bottles. Super cool. I will fill those back up and send them back to him. So let's get into this. Kings County doing some really cool stuff. They were sourcing for a long time, and now they're making most of their own stuff. They've been around for a while. If you remember my podcast episode I did with Irene Tan, the whiskey mentor, she uses them quite a bit in her blends for when she makes her whiskey. So I actually did a blind with this. This might come out after that. Yeah, this will come out after it. I had to think of my schedule there for a second. I did a podcast with the boys over at Chill Filtered. It was a great one. Go check it out, called Filtered Chaos. Super fun. And I actually got to blind this with Cole. And yeah, man, it was crazy. So, 9.5-year-old peated bourbon. Now, you don't hear about peated bourbons too much. The malt that they used in here, when they, obviously being a bourbon, doesn't have to have malt, but the malt that's in it was peated. Super cool. Super cool. So it's going to give it a smoky profile, but it's still going to be definitely bourbon. Now, the part that really kind of scares most people, and me too, is the 158.2 proof. That is not as close. I've heard of one that's a little bit higher, but that is some of the hottest whiskey that you can get and still legally be called whiskey. Bourbon, I guess. Because if it was higher than that, it would be legally called light whiskey. Okay, I'm going to get in on the taste, and then I'll give you a little notes on it. The smallest of taste. I still have to live my life. I can't be sitting here drinking double hazmat. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, the flavor is super nice. It's rich. It's oily. There's a lot going on. There's a lot in the glass. And we're talking, there's not a lot in the glass. I literally have a little more than a thimbleful in here because I want to be able to enjoy this, right? Okay, so now, after I've talked a little bit, the peat is coming in there. And now peat, if you don't know anything about peated whiskeys, obviously, it's mainly in scotches. Now American single malts are doing it, and obviously Kings County is doing it. It's a little more minerality, and it gives it this smoky note, unlike like a Whiskey Del Bach or a Santa Fe Spirits. It's not mesquite, it is peat. So it is a little briny, some would say. It's really nice. I will give this a score, but I'll just wait until the end because it's an expensive bottle for one, and for two, this was one, I think it was a single barrel as well. All right, so back on the nose. It is like molasses cookies with brown sugar, and then you stuck them on your barbecue pit and smoked them a little bit. The smoke is really light, really flavorful though. It's very vibrant. It had almost maybe even some lemon in there as well. All right, let's go on the taste. I'm literally just getting enough to wet my tongue with it because I don't want to blow my palate out. Wow. Okay, now the peat comes in a little more prominent on the second sip. It's your typical bourbon notes, right? It's the corn forward, barrel char, barrel candy even, but it's like you did all that and dunked it in some seaweed and lit it on fire. Really, really interesting. Brian, if you ever get the chance to get another bottle of this, let me know, because I need me some of this. The proof. Let's talk about the proof, right? The proof point is there. It's hot, but it is also so concentrated and so flavorful because, not to give you barrel semantics, but to be considered bourbon, it has to go in the barrel at no higher than 125 proof, right? So it was able to go up 25 or 20 whatever proof point, 20 good Lord plus 8. Yeah, anyway, you get what I'm saying. 32, 34 proof points in the barrel higher. So what that did is the water evaporated off, not the alcohol. The alcohol stayed behind. That's why the alcohol content went higher. The water in the whiskey went away through angel share. So they drank the water out of it instead of the whiskey, leaving behind a concentrated whiskey. I've talked about this multiple times. So I'm going to finish this last little sip, and I'm going to rate this. I will tell you right now, this is not a whiskey for the untrained palate. Now, I don't mean you can't try it. You can try it. I'm not saying don't drink the whiskey. What I'm saying is this is a high proof, peated, very oak forward type of whiskey. So if you're new to whiskey, this isn't going to be up your alley at all. I am having to look past some of those notes that are they're not off-putting, but they're very strong. The strong notes of oak and the strong note of the smoke that's coming through, and then the strong ethanol ding that's on my palate right now. So, all that being said, I am going to give this a 9.2. Yes, I am. Because, now, out of 10, obviously, because it will stand out. If you poured this for somebody, it would definitely stand out. This is unique, it's different, but it's also very good, right? Now, this is not, I just want to sit back and relax and have a drink while I'm watching a movie type pour. This is not. This is an exploration pour. This is a pour that you would give to somebody in very small amounts, but that you would give to somebody to say, hey, look how concentrated these flavors are of this said whiskey. Look how cool this is, right? And that's why it's obscure. And that's why I'm kind of obsessed by it. Now, I will tell you right now that I have only had this little sample of it. And there's still a little bit left that I'm going to enjoy, obviously. I'm not putting it in the blind pool because it's just too hot. I think it would blow my palate out doing it like that. I would just sit back and enjoy this one night. So, yeah. If you can't find this particular bottling, Kings County has a bunch of different things that you can do. So you can go over there. I'll leave their website or something down below. You can go check them out. Speaking of websites, I have a website. It's the whiskeyshaman.com, where you can get t-shirts, you can get glasses, not Glencairns yet, still working on those. You can get all different types of stuff. So if you're into something like that, I'm not actually wearing the shirt today. I don't know why, but I'm not actually wearing the shirt today. But they are nice and soft, and they're good quality shirts. So if that's something you're into, if you want to support this channel, that's a good way to do it. Another way to support this channel is give me a follow, a like, a subscribe, all the algorithmy things so that I can continue making cool content for you. And if you especially found this to be extra cool for you, think about the Patreon. Patreon.com/The Whiskey Shaman. Go over there. We got a lot popping over there. I got samples right here ready to give to somebody. What is this one? Ooh, that's a good one. You're going to want that one. But all that being said, y'all be good. Make sure you drink water. Good Lord, that hazmat got me. The water of life. Y'all be good. And until next time, keep your spirits up. Peace out.